Good morning, everybody. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and it is Monday morning. And believe it or not, on the other side of the glass, I've got my engineer and mixer, Spanx Calhoun. Good morning, Calhoun. Good to see you. So it's pouring rain, says Henny. Oh man, New York in the rain. I kind of dig New York in the rain. If you really want to know the truth, I think that city is absolutely amazing when there's a good drizzle going down Fifth. With the range, I love New York. I love that city. I know that a lot of people are not fans. I love New York City. As far as I'm concerned, it's the center of the universe. Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida. Good to see you, Kevin. Kevin, now that I have the technology, my brother, with your permission, I'm probably going to be highlighting you this week, if that's cool with you. I didn't have the technology to do it before, Kevin, but I got it now. And you know what, people? He's just a good human being, and there aren't enough of them. And he is a good human being, and I want to tell his story. Nicola, good to see you. Sarah, glad you're here. Paula, Rolling Stone, Steve Molesky says sleet in Detroit. Sleet's not fun. SPTV, hello, Barb. You're still awake? Barb, this is supposed to be getting up, not going to sleep. Wow. Yep, you got a wow from Johnny Scoville. That's not good. Seriously, that man eats fiery hot things for a living. You got a wow from him. Huckleberry, good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. People, it's been a fun couple of days. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's been a fun couple of days. It's gonna take a while for everybody to start getting a little bit more accustomed to everyone, if that makes sense. Our heat wave is finally settling down, says Cosmic Christie. Going to be 32 degrees centigrade. I know it's been hot as heck over there. I'm glad to hear that that's broke. You know what, Sling Blade? I have started to get 8 hours of sleep, man. Believe it or not, I've started to get 8 hours of sleep. The obvious exception to this rule is if I've got a headache, right? If something like that's going on. But other than that, morning, Harrison. Other than that, though, I've been sleeping like a stone. Hello, Sal. Good to see you. Jeans all day long. It's raining in Nova Scotia. You know what, Jeans? We've got, believe it or not, we actually have a bunch of people in Nova Scotia. You're probably the fifth or sixth person that I've seen that is chiming in from Nova Scotia, which is just cool because Nova Scotia is not huge. Yeah, Johnny says he's got some people there too. And Nova Scotia is not huge. I love Nova Scotia. That's a beautiful part of the planet. What's up, Love and Life? We're just doing that Monday morning thing. You know what I mean? We're kicking off this week. We're trying to start it off with a decent attitude. It's not always easy to start Monday off, right? Truthfully. And this is one of those days that sets the tone for the entire week, right? If you have a bad Monday, very often it just translates to a bad Tuesday, right? And you just start holding on to it. If you don't journal, by the way, you're going to hold on to it way longer. You understand this? Journaling severs the rope that holds crap onto you. Guys, get that? Journaling is the way that we stop dragging Monday into Tuesday. If this doesn't make sense to you, raise your hand. Charlie. He's been here longer than anybody too, which is really the sad part. Come on, Charlie Murphy, keep up. I stay in the air con as much as possible, but 6 degrees sure does. It's so funny when that we're so backward in our country. Like there's no one else in the world that's still talking about Fahrenheit, right? Where else in the world are we saying that it's going to be 90 degrees today? Angie, you like the shirt? This was a gift from a soccer player. I have a relative who was a semi-pro, or I don't know what they call it. They call it semi-pro, Johnny. What do they call it?
A really good soccer player.
He's a really good soccer player. There we go. He's a really, really good soccer player. He played for one of the farm league. If this was baseball or something, I would call it a minor league franchise. Like he played for a minor league franchise, that kind of thing. It's not going to be 90 in Colorado, says Blow Drill. I lived in Colorado, just outside of Colorado. It's a beautiful part of the world in terms of weather. But you know what? I was in Boulder. Boulder had better weather than Maui. And if you think I'm being funny, if you Google how many days of sunshine Boulder, Colorado gets annually, it rivals almost any place on earth. It's very, very odd, but Boulder, Colorado gets sun every single day. It was such a nice place to live until it wasn't. Cold and rainy in Ohio, says Tiffany. Okay, you know what? Truthfully, we start off our Mondays on Sunday nights. Are you hip to this as a concept? Charlie's not. The rest of you are probably hip to this as a concept. When Sunday rolls around, right? Last night we were talking, we were doing our things, and I had frustrating things that go on over the weekend, right? The normal idiots and the things that happen when you have the strangest job on planet Earth, right? But if I pack those up and I don't take care of them, right? If I take those frustrations, or if I take those aggravations, or if I take any emotion that I don't take care of, and I bring that crap with me from Sunday night into Monday morning, well, then this isn't going to be a pretty good week, right? All of the people that I interact with from Jump Street are probably going to be treated a little bit differently because I'm probably just not on my game. Please tell me you understand this. Let me give you a great example, right? Honestly, I had a couple of monumental frustrations last week. I had a couple of things that really, really pissed me off to the point where I had to pace, right? A couple of times I actually had to leave the room, leave the house, go outside, go for a walk, that kind of thing, right? Really, really bothered me. When those kind of things come on, I don't make great decisions. So I proceed to read a letter. And if you're the one that wrote this to me, thank God, because I told the person this in my email. But I read this person's letter, and they were bragging about some incredible things that are happening in the California prison system. There are people on planet Earth who are busting their chops to actually try to make prison a safer place for the people that are just trying to do their time and go home. And they're also trying to protect people from unaliving themselves, which is huge in there, huge in there. And then the top of the food heap is that they're also doing what they can to try to give these people a plan when they leave, like actually trying to work on a reentry program, right? So this is what she's sending me to brag about what she's doing. And the opening line was written kind of strange. And what it basically said is, I wanted to show you the kind of things that we're working on right now in the California system. This isn't nothing, right? Like, pretty impressed, right? This is good stuff. Okay. I haven't slept in a really long time. I was really, really freaking angry. And I read that first line wrong. I absolutely read that first line wrong. And by the time I'm done working this through in my head, this person is basically saying to me, you've accused the California system of doing absolutely nothing. So I start my email. Hey, here's the deal. I didn't do time in California, right? I don't know why you're busting my chops about this. I didn't do time in California. I never said that you people aren't trying to help in California. And I write this really long email on. I'm about 5 minutes into typing it, and I'm like, I'm picking up speed, right? I'm starting to get momentum, and I'm starting to get nasty, and I'm starting to sound like the person I'm really not wanting to be on Earth. So I backed out and I went back. I'm like, I'm going to reread this thing, man. I'm taking deep breaths, and I reread it. And I'm like, holy hell. This person is saying, Tommy, check this out. This isn't nothing, right? This is good stuff. I read it as, this isn't nothing. You say I'm doing nothing? I'm telling you, people, if your attitude can change what happens, it changes how you take that 5% that we're always talking about and turn it into the 95. The 5% was an email, a beautiful email written by somebody that gives a crap, written by the person that I am always saying we need more of, the people who exist, right? The people who every single day, through the things that they do in their vocation, make the earth a better place. This is one of them. This human being is incredible. And I wrote back and said, if you knew the email I was about to send to you, I am so damn happy that I didn't hit send. And I now put little Post-it notes around. I'm not even kidding you, right? Check that thing before you hit send. You know, check it before you hit send, because we have got to be, I don't know, we're not excellent at, and I'm referring to every human being on the planet. I'm not talking about us versus the normies. I'm talking about everybody. Do you love Barb?
I do. I'm a big Barb fan.
That is the funniest thing. Barb, I have that effect on a lot of people, right? Salat, did you just say that I have the nicest hands? You're the first person
I get that a lot.
you are the first person that has ever said that out loud. I have the worst hands in America.
You know what? I get that a lot.
Do you find it funny when people say that?
It's weird. No, it's happened for so long that I'm kind of used to it.
I have. If you knew how gross my hands were, if you could see my hands in real life, you would run.
Right.
Oh, Sling Blade. Spot on. Spot on. This is a whole show right here, Sling Blade. This is a whole show. This is 2 shows. Boy, is it hard to pick up nuance. I apologized yesterday, and if you didn't see it, I apologized to Sandy Gale, the woman that was on the other day. I didn't handle it right? I'm not saying she did either, by the way. I love you, Sandy. I don't think you handled it right either. I mean, truthfully, I don't think anybody handled it right, but it's because of this nuance, right? It really is. It's because sometimes, like I had a woman who came on the lifeboat. Oh, damn! It had to be years ago now. I put Calhoun to sleep. It had to be years ago, but everything she wrote in capitals. Everything she wrote in capitals. And I finally reached out to this person and I just said, you know, everybody is complaining to me because you're yelling. Because in you know, YouTube speak, everything in capitals is yelling. And most chats actually put something up that says, please don't write everything in capital letters. I don't take the time to do that because I just kind of figure, you know, I would like you to have the opportunity to use caps when you want to make a point, right? Or if there's something, but don't do everything in it. As it turns out, this woman couldn't see if she did not have things in caps. Morning, Russ. If she didn't have it in caps, she couldn't read it. And it's very, very easy for us to get to third base, right? Without getting to first and second. It's very easy sometimes to go smoking by your exit, right? To just go smoking by your exit by not paying attention. And I'm so guilty of it. But if you don't want that to happen, may I make some suggestions? Okay. Sunday night, before you go to bed, get all of the crap that you have in your head out of your head. Don't go to sleep with all of that stuff up there. James Smith. I'm second year anthropology student. The hardest part is writing thoughts and feelings on paper because we're trained not to, right? Because we're absolutely trained not to. Now, if you were misfortunate enough to have been a part of that crazy cult that we beat on all the time, right? They systematically ensure that your thoughts and feelings, the only time those are ever shared is when you're holding those cans, right? If you show those in the real world, you're weak. That's pretty much how that doctrine goes down, right? Tuck all that in. Don't let anybody see any of those things. And sadly, Bunny Fufu, or is that Bonya Fufu? Oh yeah, there you go, Bonya Fufu. Yeah, Fufu. I'm going to do a bunch of suggestions about journaling in a minute. I promise. Stick around. We're going to talk about this because this is where we're going. It is a very difficult thing for us to get our emotions and our feelings down on paper, especially if we think someone else is going to see it. It is considerably easier if the only person that you know is going to read that is you. I got an email from someone that said I stopped journaling when my ex-husband got a hold of my journal. People, that's painful. My heart goes out to anybody who has been through that. I am in a great situation. The people that I am very confident with the people that I'm around that no one's going to read any of my journals, which is great because there's a lot of them around. I've been doing this for a hot minute. And to me, I have an easier time journaling than I do talking to my therapist or my counselor. My therapist, especially I've got a couple, and there's a lady that I work with who's still in Nevada, and that woman is the easiest person to talk to on planet Earth. I promise you, the easiest person to talk to on planet Earth. Nevertheless, there are things I'm not telling her, right? There are things that I just am not comfortable telling anybody. I don't share them with you guys, but I share them with my journal. Right? The journal is just the other half of me. The journal on some days is the piece of crap bank robber that I used to be. And then on some days, it's the person that I want to be. And I'm just sort of trying to catch up through it. So suggestions for journaling. Here's the thing with journaling. Everybody tries to turn this into something that is rocket science. It's putting a pen to paper and writing. Now, I realize that it is hard sometimes for people to get the ball rolling. So we're going to write twice a day. You don't have to worry about the first one. The AM write will write itself if you put the pen to paper, because all you're going to write down is the jumbled mass that comes to your head. So if you put the pen down and you're like, Tommy's an idiot, nothing is coming to my head, I promise you, then something stupid's going to come up like cat or, refrigerator. And you're going to be like, write it down. May not make a lick of sense to you. It doesn't have to. You're just getting what you have in there. And you go, that is the dumbest thing. Go back and read it 2 hours later. And you're going to read refrigerator and go, I had that dream where I was doing X, Y, and Z. By the way, a refrigerator might not even be in the dream. But whatever you write down, when people dream journal, they do this. But it's the same principle because when you get up in the morning, get the crap you got in your head out of your head, right? You're not supposed to start your day that way. You're not supposed to start your day walking around with all of that stuff in there. So the early morning one is not a difficult one. I'm sorry, this sucks because this is the truth, right? An unpleasant email chain and the flatness of text made it much worse. If it really starts going off the rails in communication, maybe stop with this, right? That's just, and I don't do it either. Because we're so used to this thing now. In fact, I was sending messages to someone that I loved this morning. Absolutely loved, great dude. And I probably got lippy in it because I just do better when I talk to people. I end up being short very often. I will get to that. Let's get to the bullet points because this is kind of a busy gig. Not so much when I'm sitting in front of the screen, but when I'm not on the screen, I'm usually talking to somebody. Oh my God in heaven. That's Johnny Scoville, who just said what could possibly be the most frightening thing in the entire world. As a dad, the last thing I want to do is read my kids' journals. I would not want to read them either. I really would not. What happens to your journals after you die? That would be a decision that you make prior to passing. Now, I would like my children to have access to them if they want them. And if they want to go through that and read what dad was thinking when he was putting this together, or what dad was thinking when they were going through things in their life. I mean, I certainly have journaled every time either of my kids were struggling. It would be in my journal. It's just my innermost thoughts. I don't have any problem with either of my kids reading them. I really don't, as adults. But that's probably what I would have done with mine. And I doubt that they would want to. Calhoun says, I kept a dream journal for a while every night. The rabbit hole seemed to get deeper while logging my dreams. It's fascinating to dream journal. It really is. But I would strongly recommend that you people need to do everything within your power to get to journaling before you get to dream journaling, right? Start with journaling, because Calhoun's right. You can go down this can take you in a direction that it would be really good if you had regular journaling in place, because journaling will become how you work through things that are hard, right? Things that are hard to do. When you start to use the journal as a way to work through your problems, life is going to get better. So when you come home at night, all of us have a day. I'll go over yesterday's day, right? So last night, at the end of the day, when I get ready to go to bed, I'm going to write that, hey, I went live today again. It was good to get back on the air, right? I believe that's almost verbatim what started that entry, right? It was great to get back on the air. Talked about a couple of people that said a few things in the chat. I probably made some references to some other content creators and things that they were doing, but I went through what happened yesterday. I talked about to the journal, and if I go back 4 months from now and I read that day, I'm going to be like, I remember that day. That was the day that I was coming off of the headache, and I called Relatable Reese with about 40 seconds to spare, and she came on without taking a shower. That whole day is something that I can go back and I can read, and I can do this with any day. Do date the top of them. If you do not get in the habit of doing that, you will be miserable, I promise. Date your journals every day at the top of the page. Date it. If not, it will absolutely drive you insane down the road when you're trying to find something. James, who are we talking about? I'd be very curious to know who you're talking about that was blacklisted as a communist. That's always fascinating to me. That whole era, the McCarthy era thing, fascinates me. So if you could type that up, I'd love to know. Creepy by 5 says, Sling Blade, I love your name. Right? Or Sling Blade, I love your name. That was a creepy movie. Whoa, that's cool. The ampersand talk. Yeah. Dialectic behavioral training, right, is really what it is. It's the and, right? Life sucks and I got to get up and do what I do. I got people out there that don't like me. I still got to get up and do what I do. I got people out there that drive you crazy. I got to get up and I do what I do, right? All of the things that you do every single day. And the great thing about dialectic behavioral training, oh, cool. How good is that? Can we get the links put up in that? And if you're a wrench, do me a favor and pop up the link to Needing a Meeting just a couple of times every show. Same with Miss Dragon. And there's more coming, people. There are a lot more content creators that are going to start putting up stuff. And I usually start wanting to promote people after I see them put up 1 or 2 shows where I know I'm not sending anybody over to something that's really jacked up, right? You want to make sure that, but I have absolutely feel enthusiastic about telling you to check out Needing a Meeting. I was there yesterday. And I was there yesterday to really just hang out and need a meeting. I mean, I was honestly there just to sort of, hang out. It's great to go to a meeting where you don't have to talk. I'm at that meeting a lot more than you probably think I am. But if I say something, if I pop in and I say something, what's going to happen is everybody says hi, and I love that. It's nice, but I don't want to derail whatever anybody's doing. So I lurk, but I go there a lot. I like what they do. I really like what they do.
Yours is the only channel I comment on during live feeds because I don't want to do that.
Who said that?
I said your channel is the only channel I'm comfortable enough to comment on during live feeds.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. My brother said that I'm the only channel that he's comfortable commenting on in a live feed because he feels like when he does it any place else, and he's right, because usually if he's someplace else, he's going to be in a like a pepper community, and if he goes into a chat, it's over. I mean, every single person in the world. I'm sorry, Tommy Bird. Did you just say that you auditioned for Naked and Afraid? Laura Estrada. I love the name Estrada. I love that last name. Didn't you date a girl whose last name was Estrada?
Very close.
Debbie?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was 105 years ago, people. My memory from the old days, I don't think. Quality TV right there, says Spanx Calhoun. Good morning from Monrovia, California. Laura Estrada from Monrovia, California. Come on down. That sounds like, that's just got a great ring to it. From Monrovia, California. Huge fan. First time here this morning. You are such an inspiration, Tommy. Found you from obviously SPTV crowd. Yep. Good morning, everyone. Well, Laura, welcome to the Lifeboat. We're glad that you're here. It is an honor. I will never, ever, ever get used to hearing somebody say that they're a fan. That just sounds so weird to me. But I appreciate the heck out of it. I really do. I am so glad you found the Lifeboat. This place is freaking amazing, and it is hands down. What makes this place great is the Laura Estradas. It's the fact that every single person who comes here, usually within about 3 or 4 shows, just becomes part of the fabric of this show. And that's something that, I don't know, man, maybe that happens every other place, but I don't feel like the crowd becomes part of the show as part of the show in too many places, because it's kind of hard to do, to be honest, right? It's hard to weave as a public speaker, the biggest nightmare in the world is people who yell stuff from the crowd, right? And this is kind of what you do as a public speaker. You read what people are yelling as from the crowd as it goes smoking by, and then you comment on it. I dig it. It's a format I absolutely love. I know Aaron loves it. My brother, the people that dig this is heaven. This is interacting with people from all over the world. This is the coolest thing in the whole world. If you dig it. If you don't, it's a nightmare. I know tons of people who are content creators who just turn this off and then they turn it back on with 5 minutes to go. And if you ever see a show where I do that, they're good. They're not fun, but they're really good shows. Oh yeah, halfway through my working day here in the UK. An excellent start to the afternoon. I'm getting to where I can rhythmically time Johnny's right. If I catch it on the upstroke instead of the downstroke, if I hear him go, I know it's coming. I just sort of pause that. Did you catch that? Sarah. Oh, turns out, Sarah, just a simple thank you. How cool is that? Seriously, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. That's beautiful stuff. Yeah, hecklers, right? It's no, hey, we get hecklers here too. That's why you see all the blue wrenches, right? All the blue wrenches. Oh, Sling Blade. You're gonna get Johnny Scoville going on a. We'll be lucky if Johnny doesn't take the show over because of what you just said. Do you see that, Johnny? How's that? Huh? Johnny was talking to me about this yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yep. It's true, I was.
Yeah, you know what? I think I can if you really want to know the truth. But here's the good news, Martha. We're putting something together right now, right? People just, for those who've been around a long time, for those that have been around from the Mark Wages day, I was talking to someone on the phone yesterday. It was one of you. I don't know who I was talking to, and this actually links in together with the journaling and all of that, and dating the pages at the top, right? All of that. When Mark Wages and I got the lifeboat, I started the lifeboat, and I think I was like 3 weeks in when I met Mark. Or 4 weeks in. It was really early on. And Mark called and said, I don't want to have anything to do with the show. I just wanted to talk to you about, kind of what I think. And, I'm not trying to get on the show. I don't want to do a collaboration. And 3.5 hours later, we decided that we should be doing this together. And we did it well. We did it better together than I do it without him. But he's also got a very successful channel, right? A big one, much bigger than mine. And I was killing that channel by having him on here twice a day, every day. He was not doing what he normally did. And he wasn't spending any time with his family, which is worse. He's got kids. Mark will be on this week. He's a stud. He really is. He's an absolutely great guy. Back in those days, I sat down with a journal, and the goal was in the first year to find out what this channel was really going to be all about, like how it was gonna come together. Because like I remember Johnny in the beginning saying, all those plans you think you got, trust me when I tell you, you have no idea. They're going to tell you a lot about your channel. And I ran with that. I was like, I'll let them tell me everything. So in the first year, the channel got named. Everybody came together and it gelled into, we're a live channel. This is what we do. It's peer support. All that came together in the first year. In the second year, I tried to put up as much content as we possibly could. That was the goal, to get up as much content as we could. And Mark was great. Heather from Utah. If you've seen Heather's work, Heather was fantastic. And we put up a lot of content. So there's a ton of stuff for people to come in and deep dive. And in the journal, man, I swear to you, 2 or 3 Julys ago, and in season 3, we're going to build this puppy. We're going to go out and try to get into as many different collaborations with as many different groups and get outside as many concentric circles of sobriety as we can, so that we can bring in like-minded people and get the message out there that you don't have to live life this way, right? That was the goal. We wrote this crap down. So this year we've been doing it really exactly what we wanted to do. If I told you what the next phase is, right? The next phase of this, people, this is all we've been. I hate to sound like I'm Walt Disney because this is just a damn YouTube channel, but I promise you it's not just going to be a damn YouTube channel. There's a very, very big goal and mission involved in all of this, and it's coming. So in terms of having a place, Martha, to come here and be in a chat, there's going to be a place where you can do that whenever you need to, around the clock. And it's going to be, when you see how all this is done, there'll be a little bit of a learning curve because look, I'm not good with computers and I've got people that are coming in to put this together, but we'll have tutorials on how it works, all this. 2024 is going to make the lifeboat in 2024 will not resemble the lifeboat in 2023 by the end of it. And everything will be good. I promise you. There will be so much in place to assist anybody that needs help. You will not be able to believe it, Martha. But it's nice to know where your head was, Martha, because honestly, like Mark and I talked about that at length. we talked about having something up like a video that never goes so that everybody can stop in and talk. And the big red button actually does write about things like that. They don't really want you using chat as a as a chat room, but we were pretty sure we could get away with it. But what we wanted to do was try to build something that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more solid, and a little bit permanent, a little bit more permanent than the boat, more permanent than me. Right? This is something that we want this to outlive every single person that's hearing my voice right now, and I think that that's something that's realistic. So we're going to get after this. I promise you, people. 2024 is the year of the boat, right? And if you've been around long enough, so 2021 was the year of Tommy. I swear to you, that's how I launched this thing. It was the year of Tommy. We built it.
Sorry, George Costanza.
What's that? Yeah, no, it was obnoxious. It was the summer. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't the year. It was the summer. It was the summer of Tommy. And we built it up for about 120 days. It was a countdown. It was god awful. Looking back on it, it's embarrassing. I feel like Eddie Murphy when he looks at himself wearing blue leather doing a raw with a glove on. I was wearing a glove. No, but yeah, we built it. We built it up. But this 2024, and I won't be embarrassed about this like Corey Feldman years to come. But 2024 is the year of the boat. I promise. I need to head to bed, but sleep better after catching the boat. For all those needing a one and not able to put their hand up, grab one of these for you. Sarah, you're awesome. How cool a comment is that? Thank you so much for your generosity, Sarah. And please sleep well. Have a great night's sleep, Sarah. Boy, you're getting a lot of good nights, Sarah. Well, thank you, Mischief. I'm telling you, wait till you see. This is really, really, really small. But it is about to get really, really big. And I don't mean subscriber wise. I mean support wise. All the rest of that will all come. But the support will be in place. Will 2024 be the year of the cat in a basket? It's really funny you say that. Hold on. I'm working on another basket. Keep that under your hat. But this desk, this antique roll top desk, has two little sliders that come out, little wooden ones, and you can write on them, right? They were little writing things so that you could. So if you pull them out, it's like you're sitting at the bottom of an H, right? You're at the bottom part of an H. So I have one on each side. I could be sporting two cats in a basket. Trouble is, those kitties don't like getting in that basket for the first couple of years. They're just kind of squirrely. And I can't name this one Squirrel. If we get it, the consensus is that the cat will be named Moose. And that's just ironic because that was it's a nickname that the family means a lot to our family anyway, the name Moose. So the fact that everybody suggested that, and it makes sense because of Rocket J Squirrel and Bullwinkle J Moose. It is logical. But I can see you people, because you know what? Yeah, Calhoun says I'll have a hard time calling it Moose. You can call it Bullwinkle, Calhoun. I get it. But don't start yippying yet, Lee. See you people? This is how it goes. I say there's a chance, and now you all start. And you know what's going to happen? Do you know what's going to happen? You heard that? Was that Koofy? If so, you need to turn that off because it will eat cords. I don't have it set up. This is how it starts. Because I know this audience, right? Yeah, you're exactly right, Tommy Bird. I know this audience. What happens is everybody goes, you need another kitty for Squirrel to play with. I agree with that, right? That's how it starts. And then you need Bullwinkle because you got Rocket J Squirrel, you got Bullwinkle. How long before you people are saying, what about Boris Badenoff? You could get a cat and call it Boris. Got to have a Natasha, right? You know how many characters there are in that damn thing? Calhoun knows what I'm talking about. I had 4 cats at one point. There's more than 4 characters in there. Good try, though. Muttley. I loved Muttley. This is a great, you know what, Sling Blade? I often, no joke, right? This is a weird thing. There's no way to explain how bizarre the lifestyle is if you do this. This is just the weirdest way to make a living, right? It really is. And the people that you talk to, you tend to talk to because they make a living the same way. So they don't think you're a weirdo when you complain about the stuff that goes on in your life or you talk about things that no one understands. But I say to Johnny all the time, if you could put together a coffee group of about 6 people from all of the chats that we hang out with, who would you bring in? And for instance, who's your number one draft pick? I mean, aside from the standards, all the family members who would be here, Charlie Murphy, etc. But no, we've got some really, really funny people in here. And Sling Blade, I think you'd probably you'd be funny to sit around a coffee table with. See, I didn't catch it on the episode that time. I just didn't get it. Big fan of Muttley, by the way. Muttley was a fantastic character. Snidely Whiplash. Thank you, Calhoun. Calhouni, can you get us a picture of Snidely Whiplash? You remember he had the Carrie O'Neill, new member. Did I miss another new member? I did. I saw green go by. Sherry, welcome to the lifeboat. You look fantastic in green. Ensign, Sherry Rook. And Carrie O'Neill, another new member. Carrie, welcome to the boat.
Cag has a big question.
Who does?
Cag, question.
Okay, there it is. Hey, Cag. Okay, Cag, this is so important. I am so glad that we're having this conversation. Okay. The question is, there you go. Yeah, Calhoun, keep that on hold. I want that in a second. I have chronic pain from polycystic kidney disease, genetic. Doctor has me on oxycodone, 10 milligrams, right? As far as it goes, that is low dose oxy, really low dose oxy, 10 milligrams. You're not getting much more than 2 Percodan. Right? Same drug. Oxy. So you're not, actually, no, you said oxycodone. You are getting Percodan. You're taking 10 milligrams of Percodan. How many times a day are you taking it? Here's the thing. The signs of addiction, if you're going to need this for chronic pain, you're going to become dependent on it. There's no 2 ways about it. But there's a big difference between dependent and addicted. The symptoms of addiction are all you think about is this substance. When you're not on this substance, all you're thinking about is getting on this substance, and not just because it makes the pain go away, but because it makes your spiritual, your emotional, all of the pain go away, right? If this pill is treating more than your disease, if this pill is treating the fact that you're having a hard time, with your kids, or the holiday season drags you down, and maybe one more of these makes it a lot better. Those are the kind of symptoms you're looking for, because you're addicted now. I promise you. If you're taking 10 milligrams of Percodan, and they've been giving this to you for years, right? And I'm assuming since this is genetic, you've probably been taking it for years. It takes about 2 weeks to a month of taking Percodan every day, and you're addicted to it. I promise. It's an opiate, but that's dependent, right? There's a difference between, being dependent on it. I'm sorry, I said addiction. There's a difference between being dependent on it and being addicted. I guarantee you're dependent, but that doesn't mean you're addicted. And everybody should hear this. There's a big difference between dependent and addicted. Dependent means that you need the substance because your body has built up a need, right? If it does not get that, it's going to throw you into withdrawal. It wants so badly to get the receptor tickled so it can release the stuff. If it does not get that, it's going to make you sick. It's going to make your body hurt. It's going to make you vomit. It's going to make your backside very difficult to keep your bowels intact. But that's, dependent happens to everybody. 2 people get dependent on a drug at the same time, right? And they quit. They go through 72 hours of detox, a couple of days of feeling like crap. They begin to sleep again. And one says, I'm going to go buy another bottle of pills. And the other looks at him and goes, are you friggin' nuts? I just got off that crap. I would never do that again as long as I live. What's the difference between the 2 of them? One of them is a drug addict. They were both dependent. One easily walked away with the thought of, I am never doing that again. The other walked away and thought, where can I get those? How can I get more of those pills? In spite of that sickness, addiction is doing things, right, in the face of negative consequences, continuing to do a habit or a substance in the face of big time negative consequences. Pirate Tom, first class. Hey, Captain Tommy, do you know of a good online bipolar support group to help with your roller coaster ride? Appreciate you, man. You know what? We need one. I don't know one. I am going to research one today. Pirate Tom, I promise you. Okay? You come back here tomorrow morning. Damn it all. See, this is what happens when you have training wheels. Okay, you come back tomorrow morning and I will have a better answer for that. I promise you. But even if there is a peer support group, there should probably be another one. There cannot be enough peer support groups on planet Earth. There can't. I take 1 to 3 10 milligram Percocets a day and 30 milligrams methadone daily for years due to chronic pain and genetic pain issues. Yeah, so you're dependent. Doesn't necessarily mean you're addicted. It doesn't. I mean, there are people that take stuff for 6 or 7 years and are able to walk away. They have to go through detox because they are physically dependent. They are not, however, addicted. You know, physical dependence happens to everybody. Addiction does not. Addiction requires you to have a predisposition to it. You can't, I know that sounds nuts, but Creepy says, Davey, Lyrica saved my life with nerve pain. Lyrica is designed for that. Pregabalin. That is exactly what they made it for. Amanda says, gabapentin never did anything for me. My tolerance is gigantic for most anything. You know what, Amanda? It's a good thing that it didn't. And you know, every once in a while, people, I find myself, I'm on low dose Suboxone too. I'm on low dose Suboxone, and I always will be. But I'm on really low dose Suboxone. But I got down to nothing, and then when I came back and started doing it, I did really small amounts. Used to be on fentanyl patches when doctors started freaking out about that. I stepped down with patches, no problem. Not a drug addict, right? Not a drug addict. Dependent, you can do, right? Dependent versus drug addict. I hear this all the time. Guys that say, "Oh man, I had to go to rehab on that. I was sick for like 6 days. I'm never doing that crap again." I look at them and go, "Bet you don't, right? I bet you don't. You're not that dude. That's awesome. I love it when that happens. That's the best thing in the world." Do you know what's crazy? I didn't even touch that and it lit up. I didn't even touch that, Harrison. Apparently, this question was meant to be answered because I didn't touch that. Oh, you know what it is? I got a producer. I keep forgetting that. Question: is the long-term health damage done by stims realistically reversible? No, it's not. However, you're going to get back a percentage of it. You're going to get back some of your health, some of the damage. What you've done, I'm just going to keep it real. He's talking about cocaine, methamphetamine, benzodrine, all of the stuff that's going to ecstasy, all of the stuff that's like methyl based, that the go fast stuff, stimulants. The damage done by stimulants is not reversible. It does irreparable heart damage. It does. But if you stop, when you quit, the damage stops. And that's huge because the more of the stuff you do, it's a cumulative effect, right? Are you going to be the dude that you should have been or the woman that you should have been? No, you're not. I'm not either. I did a mountain of it. And that's the reality. And I have health issues, right? I have big time health issues and I have heart issues. I did not do my heart any real good by shooting speedballs for years. You know what I mean? Like I damaged the crap out of my heart. And the last time I went in, they said that my heart was 13%. Right. So I had 13% heart damage, which the guy said for my age, honestly, and the amount of drug use I did is incredible. Most people my age have about 10% anyway, because it just sort of goes. But I've been off for a long time. I don't do anything these days I stopped drinking energy drinks because I was freaked out about it. Doesn't methadone block opiates like Suboxone does? This is a great question. And it's a really hard one to answer. I'll tell you why. Because yes, in theory it does. But you have to get to a certain amount of methadone in order to block other opiates from working, right? And you have to take a higher dose of it. So it's got to be above the medical kind of standard that they always say is that the blocking dose begins at 80 milligrams. I don't think that they can say that across the board. I've done a lot of methadone, and I mean a lot of methadone. I know somebody who might have stolen gallons of it off a truck once. And when we had that, we were drinking the stuff out of wine glasses. Like we got really, really abusive with it. But if it was under 80 milligrams, right? Even 80, even 90, I can mix it with other drugs and feel it. But when I got up over 100 milligrams, it absolutely blocked it. That said, Suboxone blocks it a whole lot better. Absolutely, Jeff. This is such an amazing point. I have an interesting question, Jeff, that I would love to know the answer to. This is I'd be very interested in this, Jeff. Was one of your problems pain related? Right? Did you start down that road because of pain? Because between the two of them, methadone is a superior painkiller to Subutex. I mean, a superior painkiller. And I have a lot of people I work with on the boat who prefer methadone over Suboxone. And the reason is they have long-term pain issues, right? Which was one of the reasons they ended up on pain medication in the first place. So while Suboxone may get them off of it, it's not going to get them the same pain relief, right? It'll keep them from doing dope, hard dope, but it's not going to get them the same pain relief that they will from the methadone. Laura Estrada says, Davey, THC saved me, especially medically in California. A lot of people here are big proponents of weed, and a lot of people here struggle with it. And what's amazing is we've been able to keep a pretty. Everybody has seemed to stay pretty kind to one another, right? No one has ever started, arguing about that, which I'm pretty impressed with. We respect the people that are trying to quit, and we respect the people for whom it seems to work. Kat Kaplan says, the highest dose of methadone I was ever on was 90 milligrams. The highest dose of methadone I was ever on was 310. It is illegal to buy. It's illegal to buy weed, I'm assuming you mean. Not here, it's not. Like this state's legal, California's legal. There's I don't know how many there are. Calhoun, how many states have legalized cannabis? You know what? I have not looked into CGRP inhibitors. I don't even know what they are. I've never heard that, but I'm fascinated. I love it when there's something that's out there that I can deep dive into, but I have not heard of that. CGRP. I will look into that though. I promise you. And this is a great comment too, because I remember this. This is a question. If you looked into these inhibitors, Doc was telling me how safe they were. It reminded me of your conversation with your doc about Oxy, the one where my 5 foot tall doctor looked at me and said, Tommy, you got to try to get addicted to these drugs. That was the quote. I'm telling you, you got to try to get addicted to this stuff. I was way underage, but looked more mature. Oh, CBGBs. Nice. What an amazing place, huh? Smells like pee. Got about 1.5 feet of headroom. I may be exaggerating slightly. Sherry Rick says, that's low dose. I am at about 1/3 of a strip of Suboxone. I just can't make the jump off. Is there a reason you want to? Just out of curiosity, what's the reason you've decided that you want to be off it? Is it just that you think you'd be better if you were off it, or you just don't like the idea of being on it? I prefer the non pharmaceutical if I can as well. And as always, by way of full disclosure, I take a product called, I think I got it here. I take a product called Mellow Vibes. This is a sleep product, and it is derived from cannabis. It is. Before any of you say to me, there are 500 things that can get you to sleep that is so much better. I don't have a problem going to sleep. I have a problem with dreams waking me up. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Going back to 2013. I have tried everything on planet Earth for these dreams. This was the only thing that stopped it. Right. And I buy this at a dispensary. It is legal in the state that I'm in. I don't take this stuff during the day. I take one of these. I think there's 12 in the entire circular little disc. And I take one of them a night, and it knocks me down. You're absolutely right, Jeff. You're 100% right. You may want to get clean, but if you're mentally not ready or have a good enough reason, it's just not going to happen in most cases. And I want to tell you something. You're not going to hear most people say what he just said. This is not a phrase you hear in recovery. In fact, they'll never tell you this phrase in recovery. But this is obviously a cat that's had a drug problem, because this is the real world. In recovery, they will say to you, you can't say this, right? There can never be a good enough reason. The good enough reason has to be you and nothing else. And I'm telling you, that was never good enough for me. Because when the time came for me to quit, I hated me. I despised me. So Hugh, because he was way smarter than me, said, sit down and make a list of every single reason that you want this stuff out of your life. Calhoun, right? My son. First two things on the list, right, were my kids. You know, my family and my kids. The first things I wrote down. You know, God and family. And I certainly wasn't being a good father, and I wasn't being a good member of my family in any way. And I just kept writing all the reasons I wanted to get sober, and everything on that was somebody other than me. Now I stay sober because of me. Now everything that I do in my life is to help me become a better me, right? Working with all of you, everything I do is to try to get me to be a better me, but it sure as shit didn't start that way. It started where I was getting sober from my son and my daughter. That's how it started. And that was good enough for me in the beginning. There we go. Spinks Calhoun. What we're looking at, people, is the legal spots in America. If I am not mistaken, we are looking at, so those green spots right there, that's your the sort of the lighter green. That is places that's anything goes, right? The darker green is just for medical. And those white states say it ain't happening here. What those white states right there are doing is creating the greatest opportunity for drug dealers on planet Earth to go buy legal pot, drive it across the border, and sell it in those states. Sadly, if they don't see what this does, the fact that weed, if you're not going to make it legal, fine, make it illegal. But to have a federal law that makes it illegal and have a state law that makes it legal, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Jeff's right. You're not going to help anyone unless you help yourself first, right? You're not going to help anybody unless you help yourself first. And in order to do that, right, there's a big difference between, like, I get an email, every day from someone that says, hey man, I'm really ready to quit. They'll put in the subject, I want off, I'm ready to quit. And then I reach out and I go, all right, here's the deal. I want you to do X, Y, and Z, right? I'm going to do this, this, and this. They'll be gone in 15 minutes. What they want me to do is go like this. You're good. Get on out, man. You're sober now, right? Go and sin no more. And it just does not make any sense. Oh my goodness. Jeff was born and raised in San Diego. Let me tell you something, people. If you have a drug habit, that is a really nice place to live. Look at that. Huh? You know why I put that up, don't you? Because if I didn't, he would have. Right? My producer would have popped that right up there anyway. I figured I'd cut out the middleman. Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup, to be sure. You have to get sober, and you have to get sober for yourself, and yada yada. It doesn't work like that in the beginning, I promise. It doesn't. Didn't for me. Maybe you're in a different place. I'm sitting in a federal prison, right? I had just come back from the hospital where I was life flighted off the yard after being stabbed, right? And I got thrown in solitary confinement. And the guy that's throwing me in there, he looks at me and goes, ooh, boy, are you going to get dope sick? Like, there was no farting around in this at all. He's like, you're going to get so dope sick. I said, man, I'll be all right. He's like, no, you won't. He's like, you're going to go to rec when there's nobody else outside, right? You're going outside to a rec cage where there's nobody else. You're on what they call walk along. He's like, you're going to get dope sick. I promise you, you're about to get sober. And then he gave me a speech about staying sober or whatever, which I didn't listen to any of. But yeah, I mean, it was a very difficult thing to like myself. And as I started through this process of kicking dope, 7 days later, I got the letter that said I wanted divorce. I was really, if ever there was a time they should have had me sitting in front of that huge glass window, that would have been the time to do it, but they never did. Salah, someone else said this too. I'm going to find a good photo of Squirrel because I know a couple of people would like to draw a squirrel. I'm going to find the good photo of her and I'll get it and I'll post it. I promise I'll put it up. I'll get a good one. I'm with you, Tommy. I had about 14 rehab stints, countless IOPs, and I had to get clean for my kids. When the carrot of my kids was dangled finally in front of my face, that was it. Well, that was it for me too. That was absolutely it for me too. Because wow. Yeah, the possibility of having my son and my daughter in my life, right? The possibility of being able to have my son and my daughter in my life with me sober was so enticing. I can't begin to tell you. It was so enticing. And when you're sober and you can get away from the drug for a long enough period of time that your brain begins to fire. I distinctly remember like every conversation that I had with both of my kids after I began to get sober, and my daughter had never been through any of this, but my kid had. This wasn't the first time dad had been locked up. And, I remember saying to him when I get out, I'm never going back this time, and hearing the hope and doubt in his voice at the same time. And when you're high, that kind of stuff doesn't get through. But when you're sober, that kind of stuff, gives you a big hug and cuts you all the way to your bone at the exact same time. And you go, I'm never, ever going to do anything like that crap ever again. So many things I've pushed through in my life, and it's been for myself. I've often hated myself. I love the shit out of other people and really want to help people. Yeah. Paul, this makes so much sense to me. It really does. These days, I'll be honest, I'm pretty damn fond of me. Holy crap, there's my girl. Are you ready, peeps? How's that one? How is that one? That's my girl. Lady Spellbreaker. Heather, so proud of you. I just had 9 years, no opiates. Then I got the approval for my license after a DWI I got 19 years ago. Go get that license. Good for you, people. This may sound silly to some of you, right? I get this. I think I went 20. I may have gone 20 without a legit license. But I remember getting out of prison and going to get that license and having it in my hand and looking at it and going, holy crap, I'm a citizen. I am a citizen, right? That was a really, really big deal in my life. Heather, I'm so happy for you. Good for you. 19 years. You're rolling too. She's on a roll. And she makes incredible stuff. If you're in pain, she makes stuff that isn't going to get you high, that you're not going to fail a drug test for, and absolutely works. I kid you not. It's never out of reach, right? I keep this stuff right here. She really is good at it. Rosemary says, it took me 2 years to beg any doctor for help. And I went through 37 surgeries. Good Lord, hon. How could they think I wouldn't be dependent or addicted? Because they're stupid. I'm sorry. This is something that you see all the time, or worse yet, they'll ride that entire process through, right? They will go through the entire process of 37 surgeries and all of the outpatient physio and all of the crap that you do. And then they'll look at you like you did something wrong to get addicted, right? They'll look at you like this didn't happen from 37 surgeries. You were in the back alley on 4th Street trying to score a dime bag. And it's one of the reasons that we're here, right? It's one of the reasons that we need to be here. is because there's really no support. If it's not us supporting one another. Rosemary says it would take a week to explain what I went through. If the two of us were on the phone, it would take a month, because I think I have had 32 arthroscopic ones. So we could go back and forth. We could probably match. He'd beat me, but we could go stride for a while. And if we threw in broken bones, I mean, I get the body destroyed thing, and I get that doctors not only don't care, they get you addicted, right? And then honestly crap on you about it, which is just one of those things that has never ceased to blow my mind. Aussie, 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 oi, 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 Marie. Hello, Tommy and friends. Thank you for all your inspiring words. Cheers from Sydney, Australia. Been watching for some time. Excellent. And you probably know I'm a big fan of your greatest export. I'm kidding. I don't eat that stuff. I do love you Aussies, though. Laura Estrada says, booyah. I got one DUI 10 years ago, and it changed socially drinking forever. I was forever changed. I had to have a breathing device in my car to start for 5 years. It sucked. Wow. On the first DUI, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that I had one. I had one when I was 17 years old. I had up there, they called it DWI, driving while intoxicated. And it didn't matter how much you had, you were still driving while intoxicated. The incredible thing was, at the very last second, I got there and they said, if you plead guilty today, this is a true story, I swear to you. I went in with my dad, right? My dad was huge. The moose was big. And he had on a suit, was dressed to the nines. And the judge thought that Papa Scoville was my attorney, right? Because he was standing there with me, and the judge looked over at my dad and said, if I drop this to a CNN, would he plead guilty to it today? And my dad doesn't know what a CNN is. I don't know what a CNN is, but I know it's better than a DWI, right? Because it's a plea deal. So my dad was like, yeah, I think he would do that. And he looked over at the prosecutor. The prosecutor nodded. And the next thing you knew, we were on the way out of there. We got in the hall. The prosecutor hands it to my dad. My dad was like, what the hell is this? He's like, well, when I need you to file this, my dad's like, I'm his dad. The guy's like, you're not an attorney? He said, no. I promise you, if I was standing there alone, I might not have gotten that deal. But my dad dressed up really well that day, and it worked out. We have one addiction doctor in our city. One. Just one. Our GPS and emergency doctors are getting, general practitioners and emergency doctors are getting better attitudes. They're tired of deaths. James, I'm really sorry to hear that. I don't know exactly. Damn it all. I love it when that happens. I don't know what part of the world you're in. We have, fortunately, the laws have lightened up in the U.S. So if you're struggling with opiate dependency, hear me out. If you're struggling with opioid dependency, nobody wants to get dope sick. Nobody wants to be dope sick. Where's Jeff? Jeff, back me up on this one. Nobody wants to be dope sick. It's the worst feeling in the entire world, right? And it's the biggest fear of all people trying to get sober. That checks out, James. I forgot that. Vancouver Island. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah, you're in the epicenter. I'm sorry. That's a tough place for dope. It really is. That's a tough place for dope. Nobody wants to be dope sick. The stuff that they can do today. He's right. In some places, treatment is so far away and the dope is right next door, and they'll deliver it, right, Jeff? Like they'll deliver the dope, at least in the U.S., man, where I was. I make a phone call, those people will come to my house. They would deliver the dope anywhere you wanted it, and usually within about 15 minutes. It's a lot easier than a pharmacy. They'll tell you 5. They'll tell you 5 every time you call. 5 more minutes. But you can go on this thing right now, right? Quick MD. QUICK, Quick MD. Steven says, I know that feeling, getting dope sick from Percocets. Yep, it is a rotten feeling. On the bright side, modern medicine has gotten to the point where you can kick dope without getting sick. You hear me? You can kick dope without getting sick. If this is a concept that you do not know, shoot me an email. You can get clean without getting sick. Promise. I did it. It's not a difficult thing anymore. You don't have to get sick. I know it's your biggest fear. If your problem is opiates, you can get clean without getting sick. All right, people. I will be up at least one more show before the night boat today. I got a couple of stuff. I got a couple of stories that I got to talk about today. So I will be up again today, people. Do not miss it. Come back and check us out, please. Laura, I understand and I apologize. I should probably warn. We talk a lot about this. I was 7 grams a day for a really, really long time, and sadly, yeah, Calhouni, pull up old Schmedley and look at him. Tell me he's not the most. And is that Snidely Whiplash? No, what was the name of that guy? He was the guy that flew the plane. I can't think of his name. The Red Baron. The Red Baron and Muttley. Jeff, thank you. Thank you for everyone who's here, man. Suboxone is a lifesaver. Suboxone is a lifesaver. Please try to get help or take smaller doses to lower your addiction, right? We call that harm reduction. And there is nothing wrong with harm reduction. Feel me? All right, everybody. Thank you so much. On the other side of the glass, as always, my son and my producer, Spanx Calhoun. Spanky, where you at? Don't hide on me. There you are. I love you. See you later today, kid. All right, everybody. Penelope Pit Stops. That's right. Rosemary knows. Bye-bye, everybody.